I'm here on beautiful Fort Lauderdale Beach to talk about new versus used catamarans. I see a lot of misconceptions out there about buying new yachts and buying used yachts. And a lot of catamaran buyers come to me and they're not clear about the real issues between new and used. So let's talk about those. Most people assume that a new yacht comes with a warranty, so in theory they should fix everything to your satisfaction and everything works. Okay? And but other people on new yachts, they are aware of the large depreciation hit that you take involved with new yachts, and so this is a concern too. Now, used yachts are not perfect, but in some cases I think are the best value out there. And I've owned 48 boats and yachts over the years, and I also own one of Florida's largest sailing yacht dealerships. So I'd like to share my opinions and offer my opinion as to what is the best compromise out there. So the first thing you have to know is that new yacht dealers never tell you that some new yachts can have over 50 to 100 defects if you survey it. Okay? Now, most people don't survey a new yacht because the insurance company doesn't require it. So what happens is these defects aren't discovered until later. And of course, the dealers who must fix these under the warranty, they give you a 1-year warranty, and they're hoping that you don't spot most of these things until after a year. And in many cases you don't, because they're just latent, and they're just a lot of little things usually. And it can be more than 50 or 100. Recently, when the factories were running 24/7 to replace all of the catamarans lost in hurricanes Irma and Maria, the quality control went down the drain, and there was one major manufacturer that's usually a very good builder, very good with warranties, that rushed it, their production line, and this particular 40-something foot cat was surveyed only to find that it had over 155 defects noted at survey. Okay, and I personally have sold several catamarans that had over 50 defects, and in one case it took 4 months to fix everything, and the buyer was mad at us because, of course, he wanted to use the boat over Christmas. He'd promised his family, yeah, we're going to buy this new boat, we'll have a great cruise over Christmas. Well, no, he couldn't take the boat, so he was mad at us. So you just need to know that this doesn't happen in every case, but it does illustrate that new yachts are not perfect. Okay, so if you buy a new yacht, be prepared for the phase I call working the bugs out. Okay, but that's not the worst thing about new yachts. And the worst thing is, well, let me illustrate that with a question, okay? Do you know why most of the charter companies do not own most of their yachts? I mean, if it's such a good financial deal and they really do pay for the yacht or part of it, well, then why don't the charter companies own all the yachts in their fleet? Okay? You ever wonder about that? Well, it's because of the dreaded D word, depreciation, okay? And in the first few years, this is when you see depreciation, similar to a car, but sometimes even worse. And so this is why the charter companies design these charter management programs to entice investors to put up the money to buy the boats, and they sell them on the idea that they can keep the yacht in paradise, it'll be taken care of, it'll be partially paid for by the charter revenue, and they offer reciprocal use in other areas, which is a good thing sometimes. But what you have to really pay attention to and run the numbers on is what is the depreciation and what is that asset going to be worth in 5 or 6 years? And when you do the numbers, it really doesn't make much sense. And if you have more questions about this, I'm happy to run through all those numbers with you. Okay, on the other hand, we have used yachts. And, you know, all catamarans eventually turn into money pits at some time in their life. Usually 10 years is the maximum. Some turn earlier than that. It depends on the build quality and how well it was taken care of when it was young. Now, catamarans are doubly susceptible to breakdowns and being a worse money pit than monohulls because, of course, they're double the boat. They have 2 engines, they have 2 sail drives, they have twice the electrical wiring, twice the air conditioning systems, twice the plumbing, twice the holes in the deck and the hull for leaks to develop, because as the boat ages, caulking dries up and shrinks, and then leaks develop. And, you know, leaks are fatal to electrical systems, and the mold and mildew that can grow in between the hull and the liner can be very toxic. So, you know, this is what you need to be careful of with buying these older boats. All right. So, well, what's the solution? Well, over the years and owning 48 different boats and yachts, some new, some used, I have a solution. And so here's basically the bottom line. I would forget new yachts. They can be worse than used yachts because of this depreciation, but also because, you know, you sometimes it takes you a couple years just to work all the bugs out. Okay? So what I've found is the smartest thing you can do is look for a yacht that looks like new because it was well cared for. Capture the typical depreciation that comes into play, and in my opinion, there's what I call a sweet spot to look for. Okay, that is, look for a yacht that's around 3 to 5 years old, that has a maximum of 3 to 4,000 engine hours. In a catamaran, try and get an owner version because these hold their value the best. They cost a little more in the beginning, but you'll get your money back, every cent of it back, for that premium when you go to resell it. And stick with well-known, well-respected name brand production cats. Don't buy these custom builds, okay? So the key thing is buy the right boat, which is an owner version of a popular model. Buy it at the right time of year, buy it in the right locations, and if you buy it right and sell it in the right place and time, you will do just fine. And usually this means to keep the boat only 2 to 3 years, because you want to sell it while it still has a little bit of life left, so you can get some pretty good money for it, but before it's turned into a money pit, which means every time you go out, something else breaks. You know, you gotta spend between $1,000 and $5,000 to fix everything that breaks every time you go out. And, you know, I've done this many times before. And if you follow these rules, you will be a happy owner. And if for any reason you're not, like let's say your wife gets seasick easily or something, well, if you buy one of these hot boats that I'm describing, like an owner version, when you go to sell it, I've literally sold some of them in a matter of hours. I mean, of course, subject to survey and sea trial. But in the winter, we often run out of owner versions in some models, and we have waiting lists who want to buy these because they're rare. You know, only 15% of production generally is owner version. So if you have one, it's very easy to resell them. So if you have more questions about this, please go to my website, largecatamaranforSale.com, and you can contact me. I'm happy to send you actual selling prices of all the major models, and I can brief you on whatever, and I can elaborate on all of this that we talked about. So give me a call, send me an email, come over here to Fort Lauderdale and see some yachts. You know, if you come here, usually in a half a day, I can show you as many models as possible that meet your parameters, and by the end of the day you'll have a very clear idea about what you'll take, what you won't, because I show you the bad and I show you the good about every model. And then when you are clear on one or two models, then the whole process is easy, because I know where in the world and what time of year to find the best deals to save 20, 30, 40, $50,000 depending on the selling price of the boat. If it's, between 300,000 and 400,000, we can typically see discounts like that. So yeah, give me a call, and I look forward to working with you, and smooth sailing.